You don't need an ultra expensive lens to get this look. Today I'll show you how to create the miniature effect on a budget using a simple trick. The miniature effect works by selectively blurring parts of the image while keeping a thin band of focus. This mimics the looks of a macro shot, tricking your brain into thinking the scene is a tiny model. Sadly, tilt-shift lenses are a very expensive niche product, like the Canon TSE 24mm tilt-shift lens that costs $2,000. But I found a way to turn any cheap vintage lens into a tilt-shift lens for 10 times less. For this, you can use a budget-friendly adapter like the Fotodiox TLT ROKR and use any vintage lens that you already own. The Fotodiox TLT ROKR is a vintage lens adapter that lets you mount classic lenses like Canon FD, Minolta or Nikon onto modern mirrorless cameras. But it's more than just an adapter. It adds tilt and shift capabilities, letting you control focus and perspective in ways a standard adapter can't. The adapter has a 360-degree rotating mechanism, meaning you can tilt or shift in any direction, whether you're shooting landscape or portrait. This is great for adjusting focus blur exactly where you need it. A tripod is key to nailing the miniature effect. Even the slightest movement can ruin the shot. Some vintage lenses work better for this effect than others. 35 to 50mm is the best focal to get the miniature effect. Longer focal length works but requires higher angles. To really sell the miniature effect, you need to shoot from above. Think rooftops, parkings, or bridges. The higher you are, the more it looks like you're looking down at a model city. This perspective is key to making real-life scenes feel like a tiny diorama. Moving vehicles are perfect for this effect. Trains, cars, and boats, especially when traveling in straight lines. They will look just like toy models on a miniature set. Another great subject, crowds. When people are walking through a plaza, a busy street, or a park, they start to resemble tiny figurines. The blur from the tilt effect makes them stand out even more, almost like stop-motion characters. With the TLT ROKR, tilt the lens slightly upward to create a thin strip of focus in the center of the frame. The more blur at the top and bottom, the stronger the effect. It's important to not just film at normal speed. If you speed up time, this will give you a more credible toy-like motion. The faster your lens is, the better. This will improve the quality of the blurred parts. But because you will record a video with a wide open lens, you will need to add a variable ND to keep the exposure balanced. I shot all my videos in SNQ mode with 4 frames per second. But you could also shoot a time-lapse or just film normally and speed the video in post. If you want to sell the effect even more, try this. Boost the saturation for a more playful toy look. Increase contrast for a punchy effect. The miniature effect is a fun experiment to try, but the adapter can also be used for other effects. When you point a wide-angle lens upward at a tall building, the building can appear to lean backwards. This can be corrected by using the shift function of the lens adapter. This will adjust the plane of focus and straighten the vertical lines in the image. It's a good way to create more accurate and pleasing images of buildings. Stitched panoramas create images with a wide field of view that cannot be captured in a single frame with a standard lens. It allows you to use your standard lenses instead of wide-angle lenses. You can also use the tilt effect of the adapter for giving your portraits and videos a creative bokeh modification. Tilt-shift lenses aren't exactly the most popular lenses on the market, and they are pretty niche. But this adapter is pretty great to get creative effect without spending a fortune on a single lens. I put links in the description to all the different tilt adapters for different cameras and lens mounts. The Fotodiox TLT ROKR gives you the flexibility to use any vintage lenses you already own and create stunning results. And if you want to see more crazy lens modifications on a budget, check out my video on another weird vintage lens adapter.